The controversial stories around GB News continues as the news outlets have now announced that they will no longer be paying their own contributors. Now, as a startup media outlet, GB News have had a lot of ups and downs, and they've also been a great challenger to the mainstream outlets, but it is now also part of the mainstream media. So GB News can't really claim not to be mainstream media when they are mainstream media. There have been some good changes, some bad changes. There have been some issues over censorship. We already talked about that yesterday with Mark Stein, one of their top presenters, who's now left the channel due to these issues. And now they've also come out, as we said earlier, and apparently they've been advising the other presenters to no longer really talk about jabs and boosters and everything else. So a bit of censorship or self-censorship guidelines or whatever they are. And now they're talking about going to the next phase because as a channel, they have not been making profit until now. So they've basically said that the default position for GB News will be that guests are not paid for appearances. This is according to the CEO, Angelo Frangopoulos. The channel's most regular paid guests will receive a flat rate. The rates will include travel and other expenses. They are responsible for their own travel and will not fund taxis on top. Now, Angelo, the CEO, said that when we do pay down the line guests, they will have to meet minimum technical standards and be ready in good time to qualify for payments. So it is an interesting culture because any TV channel, let alone news channel, and they incentivize people, contributors, for example, or guests, especially top guests, to appear on their channels. And there's a reason for it because that channel, whether it's ITV for entertainment, showbiz shows, or Sky News for the news programs or anything, you are taking someone's time and expertise, and that's just the logical part of it, that they have to be paid. But also there is a competition. So for good guests, whether it's news commentators or again other channels, when it comes to entertainment, there is definitely competition. So that's why big channels like Sky and others try to make it more attractive for people to go on their channels, for example. And that was the case with GB News when they were created. They were very generous with guests and contributors, but apparently they believe that they've gone too far. But the U-turn is not to just minimize it, is to completely get rid of any sort of payments. But they've also created conditions for the guests to say you have to do this, you have to qualify for the payments as if you're an employee of GB News, which is a bit of a weird situation. But let's be proud of this something on this channel, the Mahyar Tousi channel, thanks to you guys. Look at the average all-day viewership. BBC News, obviously top, for obvious reasons. Sky News is second. GB News third. And Talk TV, well, Talk TV is a still semi-channel. It's mostly evening shows. On the top left, and on the left-hand side, you can see the numbers. That's in thousands. So average, the mainstream media get about 50,000, right? So GB News is on about 30,000. Sky News is on about 50,000. BBC News is on 80, 90,000 per day. Let's be proud of one thing. Because this channel, thanks to you guys, the average that we have is 200,000 views per day. 200,000 views compared to what the mainstream media are getting. Yet at the same time, they are making themselves look so important. The difference is, by the way, the numbers that you saw from Barb, which is obviously they give you their numbers, the figures from the mainstream channels. That just applies to the old-fashioned way of finding out the viewers. So BBC, for example, or any of the channels, you might see that they have 80,000 views per day, which is again still lower than this channel. But that actually includes the TV channels that are just automatically on when you enter an office reception or a hotel reception, where or your local barbers. You just have it on TV, you just have it in the background, and that includes that just counts as a view. But clearly, it is not. So thanks to you guys, we're going to continue to promote new media and independent outlets like our channel. And thanks again for all the support you've been showing me over the last couple of years and months and everything else. We have bigger plans going forward. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.